This is the time I've been waiting all summer long for. It is the AFL Finals. I'm so excited. And when I say my summer, I mean your winter. Join me. Let's see who we're going to pick to win the first round of the finals. But first, we've got to look back at round 24, the last week of the league table. And on Friday 23rd, it seems like ages ago, it was Melbourne versus Collingwood. And I did a Collingwood win. Melbourne have been poor this season. They really, really have. And Collingwood just missing out. I did Collingwood to win by 5. They actually won by 46. A fairly confident win there. But it was not enough to get into the top 8, which isn't necessarily a shame. I just would have found it funny if Carlton didn't. Anyway, next was on Saturday 24th. It was Geelong versus West Coast. This was always a case of how many rather than if. I did Geelong to win by 42. However, they decided to run away a 93-point lead. It was like 100. They were like 100 up within the first half. It was insane, Geelong. Like, West Coast, just shocking. And I do not see anything changing for next year. Just putting that out there nice and early. So 1 point for the win. Next was Richmond versus Gold Coast. This was an easy one as well, wasn't it? Gold Coast haven't been anything special this year, but Richmond have been truly atrocious. I did Gold Coast to win by 40. They won by 28. And amazingly, that is literally just in there to get a close score. So 1.5 points for me for that game. Then Hawthorn versus North, another one that was fairly simple to choose, really. You wouldn't have been saying that necessarily early on in the season because Hawthorn were not amazing at all. But they have clearly turned it around, and Hawthorn now finishing in the top 8 in the finals. 170 to 46. Incredible. I did 57, and they won by 124. That is just mind-blowing how bad North were. Very similar to West Coast. So 1 point for the result. Then Brisbane versus Essendon. I think, once again, this was probably a fairly simple one to decide here. I did Brisbane to win by 53. They only won by 20. I say only. Still plenty to win. So 1 point for me there, and that puts Brisbane in the top 8. All day long, easy. Nice. Then my Swans. This one I was happy about because I did Swans to win against the Crows by 38. We won by 31. So it's okay. It's pretty good. It gives me enough to get 1.5 points. And we are the minor premiers. I'll take that. That is as good as winning the league. We've won the league over the 24 games. We were the best team in the league. Simple as. No one can debate that. Swans have been the best team in the league. Excellent. We'll take that. We should be lifting the trophy. 1.5 points for me there. Next, Bulldogs versus GWS. And I suppose GWS just didn't really care anymore. They didn't need to win necessarily. Bulldogs, they needed it a little bit more. But even then, still probably didn't with Collingwood's shot difference. So I did Giants to win by 10. They lost by 37. So nothing in that game. Nothing at all. Then it was Carlton versus Saints. I did predict a Saints win, look. I predicted a close. When Carlton win or lose, it seems like they win or lose by a very small margin. And that was my prediction. I did Saints to win by 4. Saints won by 2. But luckily for Carlton, Fremantle, as you'll see in a minute, bottled it. They absolutely bottled it. This should have been Freo's chance to get into the top 8, and they absolutely bottled it. 1.5 points for me for that one. And then the final game was Freo at home versus Port. Freo don't lose that often at home recently, but they did this week gone. I did Freo by 6. Port won by 20, cementing Port's place there in second place. And yeah, Freo do not make the top 8. Time to check out the league table at the end of the league stage. And oh my God, I didn't think there would be anywhere near this movement. We have got people that have got a full house from last week. And wow, there is more movement than the two towers. Is it too soon? I don't know. Anyway, look at this. Up 7 places. Stinky Pinky. That is incredible. Now with a 1-point lead. 7 places at this stage of the game. Incredible. Think outside the square. Yin are up 1. Metal King down 2. Frenchie down 4. Judo Ezza up 9. RPN up 3. Rach up 12 to break the top 10. Shrek third down 3. Guru down 4. Blue Bull down 7. Oh my word. Swanee Steve down 6. Seashell up 14. How is this so much movement this week? Jackson down 4. Doofus up 6. Ragnarakax and Jason up 4. Magpie Steve Adelaide Bulldog down 6 and 5. Up 14 is Hacksaw. Up 17, Sister Fifi. These are some big numbers at this stage of the game. It is incredible. Down 9 is Beauregard. Down 6, Keyboard Warrior. Hang on, we got 35? Oh my God. Up 35 is Outback Recluse with the golden hats this week. Incredible. But then you've even got David L up 6, Superstar up 24. How are they getting these big movements and I can't? Unbelievable. I hope I've got up at least. So let's keep going. Papa Cryptic down 7. Mad Swans Fan up 5. Kev up 7. Dark Soul up 5. Down 7. DJ D. Up 13. Paul. Where am I? Up 6. AFL Time. Oh my God. Down 35. Wow. Train Tracks down 35. I am up 3 places. I'm in the top 80. I'm in the top 80. I'll take that. Right, let's see any more. Down 38, Magpies 2023. Oh my word. Let's keep going. Falling Totel. Up 9. Up 8, Newtown Faulkner. Down 11 and 10, Emily Jane Blues and Tiger Eye 2. Oh my God, let's just finish. Wooden Spoon goes to David Hill. Only down 3, considering some of the others that have gone down. Oh my God. Let's see where everyone else has finished. Let's scroll. And there we are, 176 people in the league at the moment. So here we are, the first round of the finals, the qualifying round. We've got 4 games. So it is Swans versus GWS. Whoever wins goes straight to the prelim final. And the loser goes into the next round. Then you've got Port and Geelong who are in the same situation. Whoever wins goes prelim final. Whoever loses gets another chance. And then you've got Brisbane, Carlton, and Bulldogs versus Hawks that have to go all the way through. Now, what I've looked at as well is head-to-head. I think that can show some serious information there, head-to-heads. And then we're looking at home team, the form. I think I'm hoping I can get 4 out of 4 for this first week. Fingers crossed. So, first game, Thursday, the 5th of September, Adelaide Oval, Port versus Geelong. Now, straight away, form is slightly better for Port. Slightly, but not a lot. I think both teams have enough momentum not to necessarily take that into account. You can obviously take into account that Port are playing at home. Now, if you go on head-to-head, which I may actually just go on, head-to-head in the last 5 games, Port have won 2, Geelong have won 3. I think Geelong, watching Port last year in one of the finals games, they were awful against GWS. And it's almost like Port don't have the balls to finish the job. Whereas Geelong, they have the experience in recent years. They have the experience in getting through. So actually, what I think I'm going to do is, I know Adelaide are favourites here. I know they're at home. But I think I'm going to go with a Geelong win. Partly going with head-to-head as well. Yeah, I'm going to go with a Geelong win. And I'm going to do them to win by 12. It's difficult to call now because these games are anyone's. But Geelong by 12. Difficult one, but that's what I'm going with. Next game is at the MCG. It is Western Bulldogs versus Hawthorn. Like you said, like I've said already, who would have saw Hawthorn being at this stage now when we looked at them earlier on in the season? Not me. So fair play to them. Really, really fair play to them. They're against the Bulldogs side who has also identical form. They're playing at the MCG, so no real advantage. If you look at head-to-head, it is actually 3-2 to Hawthorn. That's interesting, I think. Because, yeah, I wouldn't have expected it to be that way round. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going with the head-to-head. I'm going with the head-to-head. And so I'm going to go with a Hawthorn win. There isn't really much. This is the problem. There isn't really much now to separate these two teams. They finished 6th and 7th. There is nothing to separate them, in my opinion. Both on really good form, only losing one in the last 7. So head-to-head it is. Hawthorn to win by 18. No idea, but 18. You just don't know at this stage. Next game, though, is at the SCG. This is the team that is going to hopefully get to the final and win this year. Swans, my Swans versus GWS. Now, obviously, Swans, we struggled for 3 games. We were such good form and then all of a sudden hit a brick wall. However, Longmire's turned it around with the players. Less injuries. All of a sudden, we've won last 3 games. We found that momentum that we needed coming into this. GWS, they obviously lost their last game. They just didn't turn up, did they? It's almost like they knew they were in the finals, didn't really care anymore. We're at Sydney Cricket Ground. Now, the head-to-head for this is Sydney 4, GWS 1. And I do not sit, and I remember that last. Or do I? Was it that last game? Was it that last game? I remember the one loss we had was in the first round of the finals. But that was 3 years ago, so it can't be that. Or could it? Could technically be that. Anyway, so if that is the loss that we've had, I think that is the one we had. And it was a close one, mainly because of Toby Green cheating. Bastard. Anyway, Sydney have got to win this. I just cannot see anything else other than a Sydney win. At home as well, we've got momentum. Sydney to win here by 26. Yeah, I don't see any games being massively high scoring in terms of big margins, but Sydney should win. And then the final game, Gabba, Brisbane versus Carlton. With that form, how are they in the finals? How did they hold on? 2 games won in the last 7. Carlton, man, they almost bottled it. Almost. They pretty much did until Freo let them stay in the top 8. Anyway, Brisbane are the better team here. They are also a 4-1 head-to-head against Carlton. And I don't see Brisbane losing this. Brisbane have been, yes, okay, very similar to Swans. They lost a couple of games near the end, but actually their form has been pretty good. And actually those last 2 is what stopped them being in the top 4. But I don't see them losing here. At Gabba, they're playing well. And Carlton, you see after that loss last week, showed they just couldn't cope. They couldn't cope with the pressure. So a Brisbane win here. And we're going to go a Brisbane win by 33. So the first predictions are Geelong to win by 12. Hawthorn to win by 18. Sydney Swans to win by 26. And Lions to win by 33. I thoroughly expect Swans to make the prelim finals fairly comfortably. And hopefully to make the finals. I don't see the only one that I possibly would fear, but we wouldn't come up against until the final, is Brisbane. They're the only team I potentially fear, and maybe Geelong. So if Geelong lose and then win their next game, we could face them. But otherwise, it's only really Brisbane that I fear here. I don't fear any of the other teams. So it should hopefully be a grand final. So if anyone can get me tickets, I may have to have a flight booked to come down under again. But thank you so much for joining me. It's been an awesome, awesome season. Some results that have just gone crazy, but it has been fantastic, and we've still got more games to come. Thank you so much. Please do like and subscribe, and I will catch you next week.
Got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.